It's a beautiful story, just told beautifully and honestly by Mr. Lew Bracker.
I'm going to read most of this because I'm way too old to memorize my lines. On February 8th, 1931, this piece of land, we are standing, housed the Seven Gables apartment, occupying an apartment in Winton and Mildred Dean. And on that day, Mildred gave birth to a son, James Dean. Right here at 4th and McClure Streets in Marion, Indiana. And this is where Jimmy lived and spent the first 6 years of his life. In my opinion, this is the one place on earth that a James Dean commemorative park should be. I personally congratulate and thank those who were responsible. Earlier today, many of us celebrated Jimmy's short life at the annual memorial service. I emphasize the term celebrate because I really doubt we need a ceremony to remember James Dean. And the opening of this James Dean Park, memorializing his actual birthday, seems so fitting and such a wonderful close for me to a day with Jimmy. There's another park 2,000 miles away in Los Angeles. And of course, I refer to LA's famous Griffith Park. I bring this up to make a point about the James Dean phenomenon. Griffith Park, for those who don't know, houses the famed Griffith Observatory and the Greek Theater, the LA Zoo, and golf courses. And it even goes down into the San Fernando Valley to riding stables, where Jeremy first took me to show me his horse Cisco. And while the observatory was famous for a long time before Rebel Without a Cause, Jimmy gave it a whole new meaning and generated intense interest from young people all over the world. Yes, it extends for 4,300 acres, and yes, it contains all that I have told you. But there is a plaque in place at the Griffith Observatory. It was not put there simply as a gesture. This plaque is as important to the park as anything else I have mentioned. The plaque commemorates James Dean in the movie Rebel Without a Cause. And to me, the plaque represents the amazing impact that Jimmy's scenes from Rebel at the observatory have had on generation after generation of teenagers. That plaque has made the observatory a destination for thousands of tourists and fans that never would have visited Griffith Park. Be that as it may, this park, the James Dean Memorial Park, is much more personal, much more pertinent. It honors a boy who was born here and grew up here. It sits in his home state, among his family and people who knew him. It is the Hoosier Park in a Hoosier state and honors a native Hoosier. And this park can be visited at any time by his family, his friends, and his fans. I have read writers and historians who call Jimmy a cultural icon, a major movie star after only 3 films, or, and I quote, a symbol of teenage disillusionment and social estrangement. Writers have used big words and high-sounding phrases to describe Jimmy. I simply called him my best friend. Now, I have been asked many times, including today, what do you think Jimmy would think about all this? Well, as I understand my friend Jimmy might laugh. He had a great sense of humor and loved to laugh. He also loved practical jokes, and he might view this as well. Because Jimmy, like me, could be quite cynical with our humor. But what I really think is that Jimmy wouldn't say anything at all. He would remain inscrutable with that half smile on his face, as I have seen him do so many times with people, and let you figure out what he's thinking. But inside, Jimmy would be pleased on many levels. After all, Jimmy is a Hoosier.